Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Joe Scarice, your co-host and co-founder of the Creative Birth Strategies podcast. We're going to get started here in just a quick minute. We have another great discussion to discuss how to write a real estate business plan. We're here every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing education, networking, and strategy. Always want to give a shout out to my co-founder and co-host as well, Mr. Yerdal Perkins, who provides all of our social media video and social media architecture to pretty much everything we're doing here on the podcast, as well as website design, white label design. And we're going to talk about some updates to all this coming up in the next couple of minutes. Let me just ping some people in. Maybe you want to ping some people in as well, and get this thing going. It's been a busy week, I want to say, for the least. I want to thank our sponsors initially first. I want to thank Glenmark Capital, where I'm a senior loan analyst, providing nationwide asset-based lending for real estate investors throughout the country. I'd like to thank MB Capital Solutions, where I'm a referral partner with Eric Moss and Nick Bianchini in regards to our unsecured business lines, providing insight and unsecured business lines for real estate investors throughout the country, leveraging that with nationwide asset-based lending. I'd like to thank also um, Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, providing all our social media white label for our brokers and correspondents, all my social media and my podcasting. And I'll be discussing something we're going to be rolling out in October. Very excited about this as well. Um, and then I want to thank Real Estate Mastermind Strategies, where I am now in various chapters throughout the Northeast region. We're in South Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, North Jersey, Philadelphia, Lehigh Valley. DMV is starting in September. Lancaster is starting in September. We're gonna have a Harrisburg chapter and a New York State chapter somewhere out near the Westchester County area, which I'm quite excited about as well. So that's really exciting stuff, and we're providing educational subject matter at all those events, and we're tying it in and collaborating with the Sub Two community and the Owners Club of Sub Two, as well as my network and other people's network, which is a lot of fun. We're meeting a lot of new faces and getting to really dive into just building out relationships and building out teams of experts. I will be traveling a little bit this month as well. I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll be in Albany, New York. I'll be in Rochester, New York. I will be also in Oklahoma City. So those are a couple other mid-sized markets I'll be going to as well this month, up and above my regional and national local events. So let's just catch up a little bit about this past week. It's actually a very emotional week for me. I was very taken back on this past week. I got to personally sit in front of Mr. David Goggins and Robert O'Leary from the Shark Tank. It was a very emotional time for me listening to Mr. Goggins, and it was transformational. I wish if I could get 8 hours a month with Goggins, I'd probably be able to take down a lion. It was very heartwarming, and I really appreciated the time with him, and he really helped me reset my thought patterns to being a real estate professional and being a direct private lender. I'll go into that a little bit. The Aspire event was extremely it was just a really great event. If you can get to an Aspire event, I would get there. Robert O'Leary was on point. It was amazing. And then Goggins, he put everybody into a very uncomfortable space where a lot of people don't want to go, and he brought us there, and then he brought us right back into the whole mix of things, and it was just I literally was crying leaving that event, and cried for about a good 20 minutes following that event. So it was very emotional for me, because I'm a stroke survivor, if some of you don't know. And when I was not well, I was in bed with wires to my arms. A good friend of mine who's no longer with us, he passed away. was sending me David Goggins videos, and I'm like, who the hell is this lunatic? And then I just started listening to him, and that got me out of bed and got me where I need to get to, and allows me to get to where I get to every day. So very emotional time for me this past week, just going through things. And it just ties into a very busy week. The karma was electrifying. I mean, we went to this great event afterwards down at Sinatra Park. There was about 100 real estate investors just merging in and networking and collaborating, arms around each other. Pictures are taken, video was taken, music was playing, people were dancing. It was a beautiful night. What a beautiful week just to be out there and network and meeting people and connecting with people. And it kind of ties into our subject today, you know. Um, but now I want to also let you know on the Creative Bird Strategies podcast website, not just on the podcast there, all our events are there. So we just did some upgrades. We're going to be doing some additional upgrades where all of the events tie back into my Eventbrite. So you can get to see all the events that are coming up in September, October, November, December. And we're adding to that as well. We also rolled out a white label program that is now 9 to 5, a full Saturday workshop starting in November for anybody that's looking to broker or correspond. I'm very excited about that class. We're gonna take that toward the AI, where we're going to be starting AI video work starting October 1. So AI Joe and AI Yardell will be out in front of a lot of people. So I'm pretty excited about that announcement as well. We're working on some proposals to put together and get that out on a monthly basis. So you're going to see more AI video than ever before by myself and by Yardell Perkins of Perkatech. And maybe I'll bring on some selected uh, guests for that AI work as well. So I'm pretty excited about that announcement. But let's dive into the market this morning. You know, rates kind of leveled off on the 30-year fixed. The base rate came down to about 6.5. Inflation was up a little bit. Jobs were a little sluggish. And obviously, personal income increased actually by about 4% compared to the inflation rate that rose to 2.9. So, I mean, all these indications are basically squeezing the Fed to drop the Fed rate probably at least a quarter point, maybe even a half a point. But I think there'll be two drops in the fourth quarter. But personally, talking to so many people, and this is a personal opinion, and you know what opinions are like. I mean, this is not going to do a lot for the homeowner. This is going to do a lot for the investor. And that ties into the next subject I'm going to talk about real quick before we dive into our subject. I mean, fourth quarter is traditionally not a great market for home buying. People are not moving into a house in Thanksgiving or, uh, Christmas time and the Jewish holidays as well. It's not as powerful. This is a very powerful moment for investors because the base rate for DSCR dropped to 5.75 from 6.375. And the bridge money dropped to 8.99. It might even come down a little more on fixed to rent, fixed to flip, and new construction. That's going to take a lot of people off the sidelines that were waiting for the better rates to identify opportunities for themselves. So you could almost drop a full point in rate as an investor. That's a big difference in DSCR when you're going up against somebody that's trying to buy the home for themselves. You're the investor trying to find a B rental, and that can make or break your cash on cash return and your NOI every month. And that ties into the a report that I put together for myself. I'll be pushing it out. Even though we saw a decrease in quarter two of 2025, investor activity was still very high when compared to previous years. January, some 32% of the single family home purchases were made by investors. Although investors' proportion has decreased by 29% by June, it was still more than it was at the same point in 2024, when they only accounted for 25% of all the acquisitions. As increased inventory levels and high property prices and elevated mortgage rates continue, this is going to keep the first-time home buyer out of the buying market and keep them in the rental market. It's evident that investors are stepping in to fulfill this strong demand. Investors are expanded their market presence significantly in 2025, building on historically high levels. Okay, this demonstrates a resilience in a high price, high rate environment. As their adverse conditions are expected to persist, And investors are well positioned to meet rental demand. Their tendency to buy with all cash means high interest rates are less of a deterrent. Plus, current high prices can be offset by strong rental returns. But this also tells me if you're buying at a 6.875 rate or 7% rate as an investor and it works right there and it drops to 6%, who's making more money? The same investor. So the investors are going to be making their mark on the market. Will the shift in rates open the doors to a buyer's market? I feel like we're in a buyer's market in most markets. There's some markets that are still hanging in there on the seller's market, but any of the urban cities, it's a shift out. I mean, it's a rental market. Property managers are toppling on top of each other. I just don't. The pending home sales decreased by 0.4% in July from the prior month, yet 0.7% year over year. So even with modest improvements in mortgage rates, housing affordability and inventory and buyers still remain hesitant. So you got to be very concerned about what's going on here as a real estate agent, as a real estate investor. So, this ties into, what type of business plan do you need to set yourself up for? I'm going to break it out for the real estate agent and the real estate investor. I'm going to break that out first, and then we'll open it up to the moderators because I have a thought to this. From a real estate investor perspective, game plan, business plan for quarter four, 2025. It's a tight, ready to run playbook where you can hand this off to your team or just yourself. You gotta pick your numbers like acquisitions, sales, NOI growth, capital raise. This is for the investor. What's your buy box? What's your guardrails? What's your asset type? What's your price band? What's your underwriting gates? Is it going to be turnkey? Is it going to be flips? Is it going to be rehab contingency? Are you stockpiling some cash? And what's your market focus, right? Are you looking for landlord friendly regs, rent the price, street level thesis, like why here in some of these submarkets? And then deal sourcing. Where are you analyzing? Are you analyzing 30 deals a week? Are you making 10 offers? And what's your channels? Where are your problem lists? Who your wholesalers are? Who's your tired landlords? Your probates, your pre-foreclosures, your code violations. Stale on the market, 45 plus days. Anybody that has a listing out there 5 months, that realtor's losing that listing. I'd be lowballing those deals all day long, right? Price plus pain plus timing leads with some certainty and fast due diligence. Financing and capital stacking, sitting down with your lenders and understanding better fix to flip, fix to rent. I just sat down with a realtor yesterday, a broker. She's going to take the whole white label and get into all these organizations because they don't have a physical presence of a direct private lender. I'm going to work with her side by side. It's like 39 associations within this group. She's going to be the spearhead. Portfolio and blanket loans. I mean, bridge loans, whether it's small multifamily or mixed use, and understanding equity and gap money. Okay, this is for the investor again. Rehab construction ops. Building your team of HVAC and roofing people and windows and cabinet makers. These are people you're going to need, right? You're going to have to understand better on leasing and revenue plan. And then what's your calendar look like in networking? Okay, what are you where are you going to get follow up and follow through and make your connections and operating KPIs, deal flow, capital, rehab, leasing, financial. You got to look at execute this in a rhythm. You got to get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What are you doing? This is stuff that you need to focus as a real estate investor. Now, for the real estate agent, you got a 12-week execution plan here, okay? For listings, buyers, repeat referral growth, okay? You need to get out there and get some buyer representation agreements, right? With clear document compensation plan for yourself. Winning 10 new sell side opportunities, at least. Priming your 2026 pipeline. I know this is going to sound aggressive, but you got to get 150 meaningful conversations going, 10 appointment settings, 6 listing presentations, 8 buyer consults, 2 signed agreements, one listing taken, one accepted offer. 100% of active clients receive weekly updates. Maybe tying in with property managers for the tired landlords trying to unload some inventory at the end of the year for tax reasons. You got to get into a weekly operational rhythm. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they all pipeline audit, prospecting power hour, buyer consultants, I'm sorry, listing appointments, prospecting power hour again, open houses, private showings, circle prospecting within 200 doors. If you have a listing, knock on every door in the next 2 blocks. Maybe get some videos out there. I mean, we're ready to roll out AI video like October 1. We're going to be so aggressive about that. I don't know if that'll take over the podcast. I have no idea where it's all going to go, but for the agent, you need to be heard and seen. You have to look at lead gen campaigns, plug and play, FISBOs, expired multi-touch, open house blitzes, right? You got to look at Sphere, your farm, look at evaluating CMAs and investor micro campaign. Like, are you going after the investor in your market or out of state landlords that are looking into your market? Have you put a video together about that? Talking about your market as an attractive space for the investor. I see more realtors making videos in the last 2 weeks than I've seen them do in the last 6 months. Why? They're not busy. They're quiet going into Labor Day. Pricing, presentation, media, distribution, incentives, proof. These are all big words you got to kind of keep in mind. You got to put your scripts together the right way and break them out. You got to break them all out. And marketing and content system. You got to do a couple videos a week. You got to get out there. I'm watching this one realtor. I don't know him that well, but he's doing a video a day on different subject matter. He's got a picture with his cat and his dog, and he's doing all types of great discussions. I listen to them. He's got my attention. What about partnerships and events? When's the last time you ran an event as the gracious host or the hostess? When's the last time you aligned with somebody in cross collaborating in marketing? What is so hard about that? It's a beautiful, humbling thing to be part of. You don't have to worry. Don't worry about your in-house. Worry about you. The only person you got to concern yourself right now with is that Mira. That's the plan. That's the business plan. So these are some thoughts just to kind of get the room a little juice going here and the podcast going. So we'll start with ladies first, of course. Amy, good morning. Welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to your discussion. How to write a real estate business plan. And I gave you a lot of content to work with today.
Just a little bit, Joe. Yes, you did. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Palvido. I wear a couple of hats. I chair the U.S. PropTech Council, which is the Real Estate Technology Industry Association. It's actually, I should be just Prop Council. We're international now. We're in Canada and also Mexico. And I've also been a longtime real estate investor. I've been in commercial real estate or construction real estate since 2003, and I've been a real estate investor since 2008. There's a couple of things I want to say about. So, writing your real estate business plan, it requires you to understand where you're going, what you want to do, and then how you want to get there. I mean, it's really that simple. But when you break those three components, it requires you to think a lot about who you are, and pick your markets, right? Like you have to do those kinds of things, and then once you understand those pieces of it, then what you're going to do is write those activities that will get you there. And I will say, a lot of people focus on activity, but not the strategic ones. You need to know the ones that'll move the needle for you. And you've got to outline kind of those, top 6 things that if you did those every day, that's going to make a difference for you. And I think from most real estate investors, they just get into real estate investing and they don't really plan on what they're doing. They're just like, oh, I got to be in real estate investing, so I'm going to go start buying single family. Well, no, not necessarily. You don't have to. So you really got to sit down. I mean, you can do self storage, you could do land, you could do. There's lots of ways to get into real estate investing, but you've got to, you know, don't follow everybody else's path. Follow the path that's kind of for you. But in order for you to do that, you have to sit and do research and do planning, which is great. And that's why I'm so glad we have the topic today. But I mean, I could talk about this forever, Joe. I mean, and the other piece I would say is if you've never done this before, if you're getting into it now, it's a great time because you have tools that we never had. I never had when I started real estate investing back in 2008. Like, you have tools today that can help you get further faster. Even not just, I'm not even talking about AI. I mean, the financing tools that you have today that we didn't have back then. It's just an amazing time. The other golden nugget I would give you is don't outrun your cash. Always be cash conscious. Cash is king, and make sure you're monitoring because you can't go real estate invest if you don't have enough cash sitting on the sidelines. You always have to be monitoring your cash, making sure you have access to it, right? So either a credit line or something like that, because you can't get deals done if you don't have access to cash. So that's my half a nickel, Joe.
So what's your thoughts on AI video?
AI video? I will say, it's interesting. If you're doing it, if the purpose for the AI video is a good purpose, I'm all for it. If you're trying to scam grandma out of her money, then obviously I'm not, right?
Yeah.
But it's getting super good. With AI now, the difference between the mannerisms and the picture thing, it's kind of an interesting time for sure, and I think it's just going to get better. It's the reason why my company can do what it does. I wouldn't be able to create digital twins of buildings without the AI capabilities at all. Like it would just the real estate industry would not have the capabilities that we can do without AI being able to take a camera, take
Lost you there, Amy. There you go. You're back. So, Amy, when listening to Kevin O'Leary, it almost reinforced the AI video for us. It was so amazing what he was doing on stage with the AI video. I'm like, this is so fresh and crisp. There's no mistakes in the hesitation of speech. There's no uhs. There's no nothing. It's just clean. Yeah. And it got right to the point. And this guy, he's 70 years old and he's light years ahead of people that are in real estate at 35, 40 years old. I mean, I can't even believe it.
Yeah. I mean, the people that are actually embracing AI and using it every day, as I do, my productivity level is just insane. The amount of work that I can get done now is crazy compared to what I was doing last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's just no, and if y'all are not using AI, then somebody who is going to beat you. Like, you just have to understand that everything's about speed to the market. And if you can use AI to kind of help get you there, which it can, and obviously, listen to all of the things about, all the precautions around it, make sure that it's giving you the right answers, blah, 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 blah. But those models are getting better, and they're giving you far fewer bad answers because they're learning, right? And so, but that's what you got to understand. It's not something that you just take for granted, nor you have to train your models. Like, you have to train ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whoever, your LLM flavor of choice. But you have to train it. And once you train it to what you want it to do, it'll do it. And it'll get better. And that's the cool part about AI. And, for all the things that people say about Sam Altman, the one thing, AI's been around a very, very long time. The one thing he did was gave it to the masses for people to use. I mean, it's super cool what Sam Altman did, right? And Jonathan Ross and all those guys over at Anthropic, Jack, and all that. I mean, they were all doing this. They were all chasing the same thing, and they were doing it for 10 years, trying to figure it out. So, but yeah, it's a different world for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm gonna budget myself somewhere around 1,000 a month to do it, and take some of the video work that we're doing and just. I mean, anybody that's doing video work right now, if they dump that video into AI, they'll see the difference almost immediately once they republish it back out. It's like a whole different. It's just very different. So I'm very excited because we're gonna do it for the events. We're going to do it for some tips of the trade, and then we're going to talk about it complementing real estate and social media. So we're going to do a little mix of both, Yardell and I. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I don't know if it's going to take over the podcast per se in time, but we'll see where it all goes, of course. And thank you for your insight today, Amy. Okay.
They'll be quiet, but yeah, but that's great to be here for sure.
Thanks, Amy. And talking about what Amy was just talking about, side by side comparison between 2008 and 2025. We'll just keep it basic, right? Listing platforms, aggregated but basic, Zillow and StreetEasy. In 2025, you got immersive AI enhanced data rich 3D VR predictive listings. Property valuation, you had manual or basic AVM. Now you have AI powered AVMs with big data and real time analytics. And then back in '08, you had largely offline paper heavy. Now we're fully digital platforms, blockchain and smart contracts. Property management, you had early stage of Appfolio and a couple other places. Now everything is automated, AI assistance, proactive customer management. And then in '08, emerging tech was like rare or experimental. Now everything's widely adopted and across marketing analytics user experience. And then last but not least, but like market crisis response, high risk, low resilience in 2008. In 2025, you have much more stronger regulation, more stable lending, tech buffers, systematic shocks. So you could facilitate a lot of different things, um, between, close to 20-year difference. If you came into the business in '08, it's a whole different world with AI and your business plan today. And one other thing that Amy brought up, what do you want to do, who you are, and where are you going in real estate, right? What do you want to do? Do you want to define your lane in real estate? Who are you? This is a brand identity in the industry. That's everything right now. Who are you? This is your brand identity in the industry. I repeat it again. And where are you going? This is a vision piece. Where are you going in quarter four? Don't worry about 26. What are you doing in quarter four? What are you doing then maybe over the next 2 years? What are you doing over the next 5 years? You got to draft your personal real estate mission statement in a one-page blueprint that answers all these three questions in a polished way that you could use for networking, events, or even your social media branding. Deborah, thank you for your patience. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning. How to write a real estate business plan.
Hi, Joe. Good morning. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everybody. Deborah Adamy, Las Vegas realtor, 20 years. Joe, I agree with you. I love Kevin O'Leary, and I'm so jealous you got to actually, be in a room with him and hear him. Here we are in a buyer's market. New homes are selling because of the lower interest rate. I agree. AI is taking over. I was at a tech forum here in Las Vegas, and they had robots as your maids. They were bringing you coffee and cleaning, and it's coming. We can't stop AI, so it's coming. But so my business plan for 2026, I'm going to focus on online presence like you, Joe, because buyers and sellers are doing more research online than ever before. Specializing in my niche, identifying my unique selling proposition to stand out because it's very competitive out there. Network and mentor. I'm going to surround myself with experienced professionals and maybe consider hiring a coach to accelerate that. Embracing the 80-20 rule, which is focus on the 20% of activities that generate 80% of your results. And which is for me, open houses, like you said, Joe, just getting out there in conversations. I love that. 150 conversations, 6 listings. You got to write all that down and that be your goal and your business plan, and then be adaptable. The market's constantly changing, so prepare to adapt like AI and like you said, Joe and Amy, and adapt your strategies as needed. So yeah, that's my business plan, Joe, and thank you for the room.
Well, I want to give you a little update, Deborah. I will be out in Las Vegas, November 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and into the 11th. I'll be back on the 12th, but I will be in Vegas. We got to plan some dinner and get you out with us one of those days. So as we get closer, I'll throw you a couple texts to make sure you're available.
See you and your wife again. That'd be awesome. So November, what did you say?
7th, 8th, 9th.
Okay, that in my calendar.
We'll figure it all out there. Amy, did you want to add something? I guess Amy on mic for a minute, but Deborah touched on something.
Did you say November or September?
November.
I'll be there September 8th through the 10th. So
Hey, Deborah, if you could unmic, I'm seeing a lot of feedback on Vegas right now. It's very sluggish, down 12% on tourism from last year to this year. What's your thoughts? And is the chambers of commerce and business, are they pivoting into other spaces other than tourism to attract real estate activity? What's your thoughts to that?
Yeah, Joe. Banquets are down too. From years ago, but it's come back. So I think they're focusing more on the food and the entertainment than the gambling. Since Dubai opened, gambling has gone down, and that was a while ago. Our high rollers are going. All the Asian population is going to Dubai. So yeah, Joe, they're focusing on entertainment, conventions, food. We've got some of the top chefs out here, as you know. So yeah, tourism is down, but I think it's going to come back. I hope Powell lowers interest rates in September. And yeah, Joe, and housing is down just like everywhere else, I think. I don't know. But, yep.
I think Vegas, the one thing I think Vegas could leverage right now is that they're the most convenient airport to get somewhere in the world from there. They have one of the best direct flights anywhere. So from a sales perspective, if you were in sales and you're working remote, for the remote, I don't want to say C-level, but higher level, like management level and above, it could be the perfect storm for you to get anywhere you need to get to in a direct flight. It's the most convenient airport in the country with direct flights to anywhere. So think about that. Nobody likes to hop, skip flights. I hate that. I have to do it, but would prefer direct? Of course. And I think that's where Vegas could take advantage of that in the management level or C-level sales remote workers living in the suburbs of Vegas with the convenience of their airport. So, this ties into being very result oriented as a real estate professional, right? Whether you're an agent or investor, right? What are core qualities of result oriented agents? Goal driven, data backed decisions, negotiation mastery, follow through, and time efficiency. For investors, it's cash flow metrics, financing solutions, exit strategies, and market trends. For home buyers and sellers, you got to get sellers want to get homes market ready, priced strategically, and sold at or above asking. Buyers want to find properties that fit lifestyle, budget, long-term value while negotiating better deals. how to present yourself as a result-oriented agent or professional real estate professional using metrics in your branding. Highlight client testimonials focused on outcomes and showcasing your process, how you take people from offer to closing without unnecessary delays. Positioning yourself as a solution provider, not just a property finder. We'll go to our last rose amongst the thorns up here on our moderators. Cindy, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to how to write a real estate business plan.
Oh my heck, I don't know how I got on stage. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everybody. I'm not able to, I need to go back to the listening lounge. So sorry.
That's okay, Cindy. Well, nice to hear your voice. So we'll go to Mr. Felix Buchanan. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to how to write a real estate business plan.
Felix Buchanan Sr., the JLix Group, Buchanan Biz Enterprises, team leader of Keller Williams Legacy, Grand Rising, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. How you doing today, Joe?
Great.
How to write a business plan. Really, your business plan is your roadmap. Your business plan is pretty much your mission statement, where you're going, why you're going there. It tells you all the things that you need in reference to whatever your goals are for the year. If you're not meeting them, you go back to your business plan and you make the adjustments. You use your business plan to, if you accelerate, you're doing more than you expected that year. What things you might and should put the money towards. Your business plan is really like your Bible for whatever it is that you're doing within your business. Obviously, we could use AI to help. More than likely, for me, you use AI to give you more of the bullet points. And then, to me personally, you really want to put who you are and what it is about your business within your business plan. Like Amy was saying earlier, business plans are kind of really pretty much straightforward. It's your roadmap, your numbers, your everything, and you utilize it for it to guide you through as you do your projects or as you're building your business. See where you're going to scale, see where, if things aren't going as great, where you need to pull back at. Setting yourself up for whatever the next service or product or whatever it is, depending on what business you are. Your business plan helps you through every aspect of that. And that's my knowledge and wisdom for the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. I'll be excited to collaborating with you on a DMV event coming up third Thursday in September.
Yes, indeedy.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Get ourselves some West African food at that restaurant and burn our tongues right to the floor.
Well, being from a Caribbean family, I love spicy food.
Yeah, good luck with that. I had the catfish soup. I loved it, but my tongue was like welted on the side of my face. It was a little rough. It was a little rough.
There's some ice cream at the table to help with that.
Oh boy. Oh, and then by the way, I also have another event coming up in September in Delmarva. I will send you some information to collaborate. It'll be a sub-2 event. It's on the Saturday morning is in Lancaster, and in the afternoon we'll be in Delmarva. So I'll be hitting that DMV corridor now, probably a couple times a quarter, more so.
Absolutely. Well, I'm there to help. Anything you need, I'm there.
How was the picnic?
I didn't go because I had inspections with a couple of the properties I was dealing with, and I had an engineer coming to do a scope of work for moving these steps in this multi-unit that I'm doing. So by the time those two things jumped on my schedule, it was harder for me to be able to go down there. I wasn't going to sit in traffic. That was dead.
And by the way, I sent you proof of funds letters too. You have them.
Yes, I seen it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Felix. I've known Felix close to 20 years, man. And we go back and we were finally coming full circle, working together in a collaborative environment. So I'm very excited about the opportunity. And Felix talked about roadmap in real estate, investor versus agent, right? There's the foundation stage, learning the basics, building your power team, focusing on deals, understanding financing. For the agent, getting licensed and joining a broker that supports investors and supports what you're trying to do. Learning contracts, disclosures, compliance, mastering the MLS and off-market sourcing, right? Starting to build a sphere of influence, friends, family, local investors, networking groups. Closing 2 to 3 transactions, right? Getting things working. And then there's the growth stage, shifting to systems and deals, CRMs, project management, deal analysis, scaling to multiple strategies, leveraging creative financing, starting and building equity and cash flow to long-term stability. For the agent, you're specialized in to become the go-to agent, right? Building partnerships with wholesalers, flippers, investors, CPAs, lawyers, anybody that wants to sit down and have a cup of coffee. I'd invest into a massive gift certificate at Starbucks to sit down with, or a private coffee place, and sit down with as many people as possible a week. Developing marketing funnels, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, networking events, constantly closing 12 to 24 deals a year, right? You also have to create ancillary income streams, maybe working with a property manager on referrals, maybe become a referral partner for unsecured business lines of credit, maybe white labeling, brokering loans in the non-QM space. I have more agents. I had sat down with a very engaged real estate broker yesterday. She is going to take it to the next level. She gets it. The minute I put out that class, November 15th, the full day class, I got a phone call with her within 15 minutes, and she wanted to schedule a meeting. She is ready to rock and roll. Then you got to get into the scaling stage, right? Transitioning into portfolio growth and exploring, the non-QM environment, entering bigger plays, right? Diversifying into different markets. As an agent, building your team or grow. Leveraging assistants and transaction coordinators and junior agents. And then looking at multiple markets and chapters, right? It doesn't have to just be the town or a couple towns in your surrounding area. Maybe it's the county, or maybe it's like a certain territory, right? Then you could add, education, podcasting, workshops. These are authority builders, right? Position yourself as a trusted advisor and deal maker, not just a transactional real estate professional, right? Then you get to that next level, right? You're owning and cash flowing. You're appreciating portfolio yourself as an investor or agent, right? Raising private capital, to invest. Step back from the grind and focus on wealth preservation and legacy planning. For the agent, becoming the broker, partner in a large team, maybe building multiple income streams. I could think of four right off the bat that are real estate agents leaving by the wayside. I don't understand why they don't want to embrace it, but they want to leave them on the wayside. Focus on your personal brand and thought leadership. Maybe publish a small book, right, and push that out a little bit, right? You can create a book probably in 15 minutes in ChatGPT, for $20 a month, right? Transition from active sales to business ownership, right? And the key overlap for the agent and investor is networking and relationships equal deal flow and referrals. Financing knowledge, lenders make or break your growth. Systems, CRMs, lead gen, automation scale faster than hustle alone. Education, always reinvest in learning new strategies. Like I already was thinking about doing the AI video work. Kevin O'Leary just took it to the next step for me. I thought about how to clear the noise. Goggins took me to the next step, right? I'm ready for quarter four. Okay. So you got to create the visual roadmap design for yourself in the business plan. It's no longer the business plan, it's a visual roadmap design. Stephen, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and toss to how to write a real estate business plan.
Hey, Joe, thanks very much. And before I get into it, which AI video tools are you using? Because I've been toying with jumping into that as I expand my online stuff.
We're still doing a little due diligence here at L&I. We'll have everything locked down by next week. So I'm not here to disclose which one or the other just yet.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, so this is Steve. I'm an investor, broker, and really been spent a couple months redesigning my business plan and building out some tools to really figure out which way I want to go and how to get there. And that's, I think, the most important thing is that any business plan can't be stagnant. You can't just be like, oh, I wrote this 3 years ago and therefore this is who I am. Forget that. Now it's almost 3 months ago. And who are you? Like for me personally, I am much happier guiding agents and guiding team members than I am writing transactions. I am much happier investing and owning in income real estate as opposed to flips, so on and so forth. And so reevaluating that and okay, now I'm here and this is kind of where I'm at and so on and so forth. Like I'm finally ready to get deep into the white label. I'm definitely coming in November. It's been, okay, now how do I build the tools around that? And that's the other end for me of the business plan. Is I've always been great about making the plans, whatever industry I was in. The actual delivering on what the customer sees was very easy for me back in the television days. Is a lot harder here in a much more commodity space. And so that's the other thing I spent the last couple of months doing is preparing to launch some tools, which I'll probably have your Dale do a lot of the cleanup on. I'm preparing to launch some tools of, or the finishing touches, I shouldn't have cleanup, but preparing to launch some tools of what will the audience see about me in the different spaces, about my team in the different spaces? What does the brokers look like? What is the overall REI homepage, which is kind of my pet brand for everything? What does that look like? So my 2 cents here are the front end of constantly reevaluate what you want to be, which parts of the game you like and don't like. Because in every job, there's parts you like and there's parts you don't like, and there's parts that are complete drag. How can you outsource the complete drags, and how can you kind of build your team around that, build your solution around keeping you inspired and keeping with what's working, revising every 3 months what's working, and looking at least annually on how the world sees you. And when they say, hey, where can I find you, online, making sure that that reflects where you want to be and where you are. And then along with that, it always goes back to who your team is. Who do you have, running your website? Who's answering those phone calls? One of the biggest challenges for wholesalers and newer wholesalers and probably realtors today is speed to lead, meaning people don't want to send you a message tonight and hear back, in 2 days. They want to send you a message tonight and probably hear back tonight. So using AI, using tools to make sure that reach is there. And that's part of the how does the world see you? Not only does the website look clean and get to where they're going, but can they get it? How much information can they get instantly? So that's pretty much what I've been spending the last couple of months focusing on. Is I reevaluated who I was back in June, and now I'm rebuilding out the visibility so that when I come back in a couple of weeks, it'll all come together in the way it should. So that's pretty much what I got.
Thank you, Stephen. Always a pleasure to have you on here. And to tie into that November 15th event, it's a full day, 9 to 5. So if you wanted to come in to Philadelphia, I'm starting it in Philadelphia. I'll be in the next month, I'll be in North Jersey. Then the following month, I'll be in New York, and then South Jersey. And then we're going to go into Delaware. And then we're gonna expand it. We're going to try to touch every state in the country. And it's a full blown day, which might turn into a 2 day event by quarter 1. It's going to cover DSCR 1 through 4, 5 through 20 on the multifamily side. It's going to cover DSCR in the mixed use space 2 through 8. It's going to cover general construction, new construction, and what that looks like. And we're going to go into multifamily, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, or larger multifamily. We're going to go into uh, the bells and whistles of all of it. Okay, I usually do a 2 to 3 hour course. Now I'm going to do a full day, and we're going to then probably take it into a 2 day workshop. So you want to come in, you fly in or drive up or take a train. There's so much. We're going to be in downtown Philadelphia, an old city on a rooftop deck. It's a beautiful setting, and it's going to be just a lot of fun. And we're gonna have MB Capital Solutions there. We'll have a nationwide title company there as well to talk with you, to tie that into non-QM and how to leverage that. But for the primary, it's going to be well more accelerated than the average class I've been teaching over the last several years. I just decided to just take it to the next step. People are going to walk away as true non-QM lenders. They're going to have insight and intuition to identify opportunities for themselves. And it goes back to the roadmap in real estate, investor versus agent, and this ties into the business plan. You gotta be in the foundation stage. There's a foundation stage as always, and then you got to build that to, the growth stage. But it also ties into, hang on 1 second here, just lost myself here. Road mapping and figuring out direction as a real estate professional. So right now, you got time. You got an extra day off tomorrow, right? You got to do a self-assessment. Who are you? Who do you want to have these relationships and services and work with, right? You got what operations and strategy do you have for quarter 4? Define your North Star. What do you want? Right? Income goal, time freedom goal, impact goal. Choose your primary vehicle, agent path, investor path, hybrid path. Building the systems to get there. Education, networking, marketing, execution. What is your plan this quarter? Don't worry about next year. What is your plan this quarter to put food on your plate? Scale and refine. What is producing the highest ROI on your time and money? Can you systemize or outsource lower value tasks? And where can you double down? I've never seen more of an opportunity in real estate where you could have no less than 4 streams of income as a real estate professional. I've never seen at least 4, maybe 6. If I think thoroughly through, yeah, there's you could have a title marketing relationship. You could have unsecured business lines of credit. You could be a non-QM lender. You could be a real estate agent. So that's 4 right there. You could have a referral program with insurance companies. That's 5, right? I'll figure out a 6th in a minute, but think about this. What are you doing? They all complement each other. They all complement what you're trying to accomplish as a real estate professional. Oh, being a real estate investor owner, people come to you first in distress to sell their property. Why aren't you buying those properties? Money is so ample in the non-QM space. That should be part of your business plan. Well, I don't know if I got the credit. I don't know if the money. Listen, if you have a deal, there's always a business partner. There's always an opportunity. And why haven't you hosted an event for yourself with your team of experts in your market? I'm not saying you got to do it with me. I'm saying, like, who's the top 2 people that you feel comfortable in your market to host a meetup? Do you even know how to put an event out there? Do you know even the places where to market an event? Have you ever thought about that? Right? I know if I decide to have an event anywhere in the country, I know exactly the 6 websites or search engines I need to put my event in. And I know who I have to go and go after to collaborate with in those markets. I know who I need to go to, what professional services, who has the networks, right? You don't have to depend on any organization. Depend on yourself. That's the business plan. That's the secret sauce. Nobody can buy motivation. There's not a can of motivation on the shelf in the shopping store. You can't do that. There's nothing to buy. There's absolutely nothing available there. I'm sorry. But to be driven, that's internal. You got to be driven. Again, you can't buy motivation. You got to armor your mind every morning. I learned that on Thursday afternoon. Armor your mind every morning. You're ready to go to battle. You are all Spartans in this battle of life as a real estate professional. And it's only going to get harder if you allow it. Or you can make it feel like the Matrix and just you're pushing bullets to the left and to the right. I've never seen such opportunity in front of me in the last 6 years of my life than the previous 6 years of my life. There's so many income streams. You got to just make sure that you're not taking on stuff that you have to jump to. It should be an easy stride. When you're talking to somebody, hey, I want to open up a storefront and I don't have enough money, but I either need a partner or I need more money. Oh, I can get you unsecured business lines of credit. Or, hey, by the way, I have somebody that's sitting around trying to figure out what they're doing. Maybe they might want a JV with you and be a silent partner. Oh, I just found this property that needs rehab. I want you to sell it for me because I got it from my grandmother and I don't want to deal with it. Well, listen, this place on the market, if I list it, it's going to take 6 months to maybe buy or 4 months. A bunch of wholesalers are going to cost. But listen, based on the comps on the after repair value, this is what I can offer you right now if you want to close in the next 30 days. That's the kind of conversation you should have as a real estate agent, as well as an investor. That's the hat I would wear in the fourth quarter. Because rates are, put it this way, the Jackson Hole Symposium, our base rate went from 6.375 to 5.75 the same morning within an hour. So what happens in the next 2 weeks when we get close to the rate drop from Fed Powell and the federal agency? We're probably going to drop another quarter to half a point in rate for investor. Nobody's buying a home to live in Thanksgiving or Hanukkah or Christmas. Investors buy all the time. So if you're agent, I would start collaborating. I don't know if I would collaborate with wholesalers as much as I would try to identify real estate investors that has some form of loyalty, working with somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. I'm not saying to go all in, but I would definitely diversify myself in discussing subject matter, not just for the first time home buyer, but for the individual, maybe the first time investor. Somebody that's a little more moldable, somebody that's going to stay committed to you to identify opportunities. Somebody that has some loose money on the sidelines that wants to buy a couple properties that they want a cash flow. That's easy enough. Those are easy softballs to hit. Real easy. Felix, any final thoughts to our discussion this morning in regards to how to write a real estate business plan?
Really just make sure that you take the time to do that before, like I believe Amy said earlier on, that people just get started. They jump in and be like, oh, well, I just want to do a single family home, or I want to do multi-unit properties. Just know what it is that you're getting into, do the research, find your niche, and make sure that you use that plan to get you where you're looking to go. My knowledge and wisdom for the day.
Hey, man, got to share it, right?
Yes.
I think everybody should go and also think, review and reset and look back and analyze your year-to-date performance, right? What didn't work? Identify the gaps. Setting true quarter four targets. Focusing on your pipeline and follow-up. Many clients go quiet in quarter four. Audit your CRM. Yardell and I are always auditing my CRM. And we're looking at the holiday hustle list. Who's your 20 hot prospects to follow up with though in the next every 2 weeks? And there's some seasonal advantage strategies. Sellers are motivated to sell. Less competition equals stronger buyers. Buyer investors, remind them of the end of the year tax strategies, depreciation, cost seg, 1031 exchanges, and networking, holidays. We're doing more holiday events in December than I've ever done before. We are having an event with the sub 2 community in Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and Trenton, 3 days right in a row. We're going right at it. And that's December 18th, 19th, and 20th. Okay? We're having events right up to the week of Christmas. And then there's personal motivation hacks, weekly wins, and micro goals, and accountability, and celebrating those small victories. Prep for 26. Quarter four isn't just about closing deals, it's about planting seeds, lining up investors and clients for quarter one, securing funding approvals and pre-quals now, drafting your 2026 plan while competitors are asleep. Motivation mindset, momentum versus perfection. Discipline over feelings. Remember your why, whether it's family, financial freedom, or building a legacy of wealth. Keeping vision visible daily. You got to create you got to put this strategy together. This is now. You got time. You got a wonderful quarter four ahead of you. It's there just to grab onto and team up with one another. I wouldn't try to create an event for September if you're going to try to go out there and do a meetup. Plan it accordingly. Plan it for October. Plan it for November. Plant those seeds and cultivate it like a garden. I want to thank our sponsors this morning. I want to thank Lendmark Capital, where I'm a senior loan analyst providing nationwide asset-based lending for real estate investors throughout the country. MB Capital Solution, where I'm a referral partner offering unsecured business lines of credit for real estate investors and business owners throughout the country. I'd like to thank Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, my co-founder, co-host of this great podcast and room here on Clubhouse, providing social media strategy and advisory for real estate professionals or business professionals throughout the country. And I'd like to thank Real Estate Mastermind Strategies, where I am a co-founder and co-host of events now in 4 states, expanding rapidly, getting in front of more people than ever before, networking, collaborating, education. And listen, if you really want to take your business to the next step, November 15th, I'd mark that down as a go-to discussion, the mastermind of white label marketing. Full day 9 to 5. Come in on a Friday, we're gonna have dinner, mastermind dinner. Saturday, we're gonna have the full day. And we might even have a little something on Sunday, kind of as a follow through. Maybe we'll do like a rehab tour, a couple properties for just the people that are in the class. That's how we're going to do it, the first wave, and then it'll expand upon that. And anybody would like to talk about that course as well, maybe to have it in your market, let's talk about that and build that for quarter 1. It's something to kind of work around what you're trying to accomplish as a real estate professional. And my quote this morning, it's not even a quote. It's kind of a phrase that I heard Thursday when I was at Aspire. Be able to name your demons. And that means that before you can overcome or manage the struggles, fears, or destructive patterns in your life, you need to clearly identify them. Naming them gives form and clarity to what otherwise feels vague or overwhelming. By naming your demons, you bring them into light where they can be acknowledged and managed instead of letting them control you from the shadows. So please, everybody have a beautiful Sunday. And I'm not live streaming my class, so good luck with that, Eddie. You got to show up and be there. Otherwise, we'll just have a nice conversation about it. But I want everybody to have a beautiful Sunday morning. We'll be back next Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with more education, networking, and strategy. And I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds. Be blessed. Take care of yourself.